captain, I believe over the weekend?
No, it was this summer.
This summer, okay. So congratulations. And of course, here's the Knowles connection. She and Mandy met on a gnarly hike that involved lots of turning around, and I'm sure there was some cussing involved. If you've done, yeah, no, never, never. So Captain Brodie is a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, where she was a coxswain on the crew team. So if you know that person is the one who rides forwards while everybody else is riding backwards, and is the one who can see what's coming and tells people what to do. Excellent training for being a captain, I'm sure. She was one of the first women admitted to Artillery Basic Officer course and proceeded to graduate first in that class of 137 people. She was also the first female artillery executive officer and is currently based in Virginia at the basic school. So Captain Brodie is going to share with us her thoughts about both ambiguity and adversity, because they can feel like two sides of the same coin. So thanks for being with us this morning, and we look forward to your comments.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to share my screen just because I think my boring office is not that cool. So I'm just going to pull up some pictures I've had from my career, and then please let me know once if you can see them. Do they show up? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so I'm Virginia Brodie. I am actually a captain in the Marine Corps right now, but I have to give the statement that this all my personal opinions, nothing representation of the Marine Corps, because I'm still active duty. But with that, General Reiner, thank you for the shout out, sir. Absolute honored. I had no idea you were also field artillery. And you can see my howitzer up there behind me in my office, so very big fan. So with ambiguity, ambiguity and adversity, definitely a big part of my career. So I just wanted to essentially walk you through my timeline and how I ended where I am right now, and essentially how ambiguity and adversity were the guiding features of that, if you will. So as mentioned, graduated from the Naval Academy in 2015. And like Rear Admiral Herbert said yesterday, or however many days ago that was for all of you, at the time, women were still excluded from a lot of combat roles, one of them being artillery. So I graduated from the Naval Academy and reported directly to the basic school in Quantico, which is ironically where I'm serving right now. Went there, fell in love with a certain military occupational specialty, which was field artillery. Unbeknownst to me, I was not allowed to select that, which was a huge shock, because it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen with the weapon system. It was just really powerful, and I wanted to be a part of it. So my staff platoon commander, which is essentially a senior ranking officer who was my mentor going through the pipeline at the beginning training school. So he encouraged me just to continue to put field artillery number one, in hopes that potentially it would be opened up for me. So sure enough, about 3 weeks before I graduated, at the time, the Honorable Ash Carter announced that all women would be allowed to serve in every MOS, regardless of gender. And for me, that was a huge opportunity, but the legalities of it, I was going to graduate right before the January 1st date. So I was in this weird gray limbo zone where it was unclear if I was going to actually be able to select the field artillery MOS. So my SPC, he essentially, I don't know what went on behind closed doors, but I'm assuming it was a lot of conversations where he was essentially just vouching for me behind my back and was allowing me to select this. So the way I view ambiguity, it's interesting because I think there's a lot of ways to interpret the word, which means there are multiple interpretations. The way I view ambiguity is with respect to the people of your organization. So in that particular instance, like, he was very familiar with me, my capabilities and limitations, and he saw this opportunity that could have been interpreted a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of pieces of the organization that could have told him, no, she's not allowed to go. We'll wait till more official word. But instead, he stood up for me and essentially vouched for me to be able to go on and do field artillery, which was a dream of mine. Ended up graduating as here from the basic school on the left picture, and on the right picture is field artillery school. With that, it was just a huge honor to have been afforded that opportunity. Checked into my next unit, and there's a picture of me out in the desert. Checked into my next unit, and what waited for me was a little bit more ambiguity in terms of my career. So they were still working through the legalities of where women were going to be allowed to go on deployments, et cetera. And my career essentially felt like every day I was like fighting day to day, unclear of what was going to happen next. And how I learned to navigate through that was essentially just through like my own personal flexibility and resiliency. So at the end of the day, very grateful for my experience and opportunities that I was afforded, but it was really challenging to like not know what you're going to be doing next, not know what deployments you're going to be able to do, and like not know what doors were going to be allowed to be opened for you. So with that, it was a little bit frustrating, but this right here, this was my unit that I ended up having what you said, the XO. I was the executive officer of this unit, which was a complete honor. So definitely was afforded that opportunity, which allowed me to lead a staff of 12 other people, which was able to, I was the one kind of navigating the ambiguity of our certain mission set, or what it is we were able to accomplish. So big picture, I think ambiguity really comes down to being like a people's organization and how we interpret our own people's capabilities and limitations. So whatever it is, organization you are a leader in, your biggest resource is going to be the people who work there. Whether that's you as a leader knowing how good they are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, like navigating around that, I think is the most important thing in terms of being a leader, is essentially just making sure you have versed yourselves well enough in what they are able to do. And that essentially helps you navigate through the ambiguity of your organization. So a second way to look through ambiguity, what we teach here at the basic school. So I'm currently an instructor where I teach the new officers coming through. And the biggest thing we teach them is to develop a 70% solution. So what we mean by that is put them in essentially, we like war games, some scenarios with them, put them in high pressure moments where we force them to make a decision when they don't have all of the information available. So operating in a 70% solution environment essentially, well, ideally gets rid of the danger of ambiguity and allows us to feel comfortable making decisions when we don't have a lot of the information or some of the information that we feel is crucial. So going back to what General Reiner was saying, he was talking about commander's intent, and commander's intent is something that the Marine Corps and the military in general essentially provides itself on. So what commander's intent is we drive young officers to make decisions in line with commander's intent. So it's not specifically telling them how to make the decision, but it's telling them like what their left and right lateral limit is and giving them repetitions at doing it when they don't have all the information. There's a little bit of danger associated with that, right? Maybe that 30% of the information you do not have is crucial, but having the mindset that we're never going to be able to receive all the information. If we continuously wait, we potentially might lose an opportunity. So we always tell them 70% solution now is better than a 100% solution 2 days from now. A little bit challenging when a lot of us in the military are perfectionists and don't want to make mistakes and want to patiently wait until we have all the information. But something we drive them to is be able to be those fast decision makers. So I always tell my students is like we're paid to solve complex problems in a really rapidly changing environment. So rapidly changing means like your information flow is going to be sometimes inaccurate or out of date, et cetera, but you must be able to pause, pull all your information in, make a decision on what the info you have at the time is. So it's been challenging. It's challenging for, I think, every rank, and I think every rank has experienced that. But again, going back to like knowing your people's capabilities and limitations and how they are able to navigate around those own situations, really interprets that. So any questions for me from the group? But that's all I got, really.
Thank you. I love the